Hey everyone, I'm Rather Be Squidding. Today, the report that we've been waiting on for 6 months was finally released. Opinions on it are varied. I just participated in a great live discussion over at the Unidentified Celebrity Review. I wasn't planning on making a video on the report, but I think there's some confusion about it and I wanted to give my unfiltered thoughts here. This is not a UAP report. This is a UAP Task Force status report. Whether that's what it should have been is another story. It tells us that the task force has identified 18 encounters with phenomena they can't identify. These cases are given a designation of other. There's no video evidence or deep dive into any of these encounters, and I'm disappointed in that. But it does give us insight into what the UAP Task Force has been up to. Many thought the UAP Task Force was purely looking at these objects because they feared they were foreign adversarial systems. The report makes clear this is not the case. There are, of course, foreign adversarial systems, and sometimes run-ins with these systems are initially designated unidentified, but that's not what this task force is about. They are not simply trying to get more details on unidentified but presumed foreign craft. The UAP Task Force's mandate is clearly to study reports on the truly bizarre encounters classified as other. Another similar concern is that the UAP Task Force exists solely to advance the threat narrative. The notion that we need to study these unknowns intensely, because if we don't, we could be in trouble. The report throws cold water on that idea. Although the report does tell us that there have been 11 near misses with UAP in recent years, that's an aviation threat within the scope of the FAA. There's no indication that there's any military threat posed by the phenomena. A recent article by Tim McMillan of The Debrief makes this point even more clear. Tim interviewed Ray Mobus, Secretary of the U.S. Navy from 2009 to 2017. During this time, we know the Navy had a number of UAP encounters. Mobus confirms that these incidents reached his desk, and that he never received a rational explanation. When I heard this, I thought it insane. Who would hear about something that could literally be an alien craft and then not relentlessly search for the answer? Well, if your other priorities are keeping China and Iran in check while trying to avoid nuclear war with North Korea, benign objects darting around the skies probably isn't taking up a lot of mental cycles. Issues where real, tangible lives are at stake come first. And so Mobus focused on the very real and very important priorities he had. And that's essentially the tale of how all government officials treated the UAP issue. Until now. The UAP Task Force report is confirmation that they are now taking the issue seriously. Whereas previous reports were stifled by stigma and no reporting mechanisms, this started changing 2 years ago. Because of this change, most of the incidents studied by the UAP Task Force were very recent. But this doesn't mean that historic cases are cold. One of the most tantalizing details of the report was the hint that the task force is beginning to apply AI and machine learning data mining techniques to historic data. This could be huge. This would find anomalies in satellite data, things like fast walkers, which I previously reported on. Could you imagine if historic satellite data from November 14th, 2004, the day of the famous Tic Tac incident, revealed a fast walker entering our atmosphere? This could provide the corroborating evidence needed to determine the nature of these objects. We can now be sure that there are people in the government who are digging into this topic. It's not a ruse, it's not a wild goose chase. It's a serious investigation that has a good chance of producing serious results. So, what's next? Well, we need to press for regular updates from the UAP Task Force. They are doing very interesting things. We also need to press for more information on the existing reports. We now know there are 21 of these, covering 18 encounters with these others. Let's get them released. There's also a wealth of threads left completely untouched. Things like metamaterials, incidents prior to 2000, and any theories to the nature of these others. We're left to speculate on those topics. Subscribe to this channel if that interests you. I do plenty of it here. I post videos every 2 weeks, but this one doesn't count towards that schedule. In the next day or two, I'll be posting a video that gives some insight into how we might actually figure out how these UAP work. We might be closer to figuring it out than you think. It all revolves around a new approach to physics. So subscribe and find out more about that, and other and underknown areas of science and the unexplained. And as always, thanks for watching Rather Be Squidding.